Again, if you do have a question for Joey, go ahead and raise your hand and we'll go right to questions when he arrives. So you want to get in line, hit the participants icon and then raise your hand and then we will go with your questions with Joey Logano.
How do you look at the races lined up for round 2?
Yeah, I mean, the same way we do all the time is maximize the finish. Get as much points as possible. Win, that would be great. It's obviously the goal all the time is to win the race. But if you can't, it's get everything you possibly can. Just like we have these first 2 races of the playoffs, that doesn't change. Now, when you get to the 3rd race and you see where you're at, well, then you might have to change your plan at that point. But when you look at 3 races, it's hard to say there's a strategy of it besides just go out there and pass the car in front of you. It's pretty simple. But, you know, like I said, this weekend when there's a cutoff race and there's teams that have to win, well, then that's going to be, you know, you obviously change your strategy to that.
Joey, you know, just like you would not want to come to Bristol, you know, either just below or just above the cutoff line, you don't want to do that for Charlotte, right? So the first 2 races are the key. You don't want to have to go to the Roval, do you, trying to defend the cutoff line?
It's not a fun place to be. It's a stressful place. But I've said this all the time. When you're in the playoffs, there is going to be a time you will have to win. You know, even if you run up towards the front, there's going to be a point, especially if you get to Phoenix, you're going to have to win that thing, right? We've seen that happen every year during this championship format, is you have to win the final race to win the championship. You're going to have to win at some point, and the pressure is going to be on one way or another. So, yeah, you want to try to make the next 2 races, be able to score as many points as possible to position yourself in a good spot. But at some point, the pressure is going to be there. And, you know, yeah, I don't want to have my back against the wall at the Roval, but if it does, it does, and we'll handle it then.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Our next question is going to come from Dustin Long. Go ahead with your question, Dustin.
Joey, how has the choose rule impacted things in the playoffs, if it has at this point, and if not, or what kind of tracks might it impact moving forward?
Well, I think it impacts the races. I don't know if it's changing much for like the playoffs in general, but the race itself has changed a lot, and I love it. I think it's great. It adds another piece of strategy to the races, of what lanes you want to be in. A lot of it depends on, you know, some lanes get better drive. You look at Richmond last week and, you know, the bottom lane gets better drive, but, you know, being in the top lane after that wasn't that bad of a place to be. You know, how much are you willing to risk to be in the preferred lane or the non-preferred lane, right? And, you know, what are the gains and the, you know, the risk and the reward is what you kind of have to look at with these decisions. So, and who's in front of you, right? Maybe it's a car that you know doesn't fire off well, you know, and you want to be not near that one and not behind that one. That's going to trap you, you know? So every racetrack's different. It's a lot to look into compared to what it used to be, because it used to just kind of be where you roll off a pit road and, you know, if you're in the right spot, you got lucky. And if not, well, this takes the luck right out of it. There's a lot of, to me, there's a lot of science that goes behind, you know, which lane you want to be in. That's going to put you in the best spot later on.
Also, I'm curious, because of the challenges this year, obviously no fans, no people in the garage area. You used to, through your foundation, you would have kids and take them into the track and give them certainly a lifetime experience, and obviously not having the opportunity to do that. What has that been like, and is there a way around that, or how have you kind of been dealing with that in that sense?
Zoom calls. We've been doing some things through Zoom with the JL Kids crew, you know, which is only is good to a certain point. You know, I'm such a fan of being in person with people, but this is what we have, and we're lucky to have this technology during these times. But with the foundation itself, outside of doing the JL Kids crew, you know, we obviously did the COVID-19 response and recovery fund. That was $1 million that we dispersed already throughout the country, helping with so many different areas with people that are struggling through this pandemic right now. And now we're going back to what our roots are, which is giving second chances to children and young adults in times of crisis. And in this moment, it's actually more important than ever, because you think about everyone's going through their own struggles right now in their own world, right? And usually when you're struggling yourself, you don't think about others as much. making it harder and harder for these organizations that help, mentoring kids, foster families, group type homes, all these things that these kids need, and it's not their fault a lot of times why they're in this position. And they just need someone to believe. They need some faith. They need, someone to just support, what they can be. And so next, 8 weeks for the rest of this season, now we're going to give $22,000 a week to organizations that help support that cause through the Joey Logano Foundation and our supporters.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Our next question will come from Alex Andrea. Go ahead with your question, Alex.
Hey, Joey. Thanks for your time. There have obviously been a lot of rumors around Denny Hamlin potentially owning and running a Cub team. And I'm just curious how other Cub drivers feel about, competing against a driver in the Cub Series who's a driver and then also a team owner possibly next year. How do you feel about that?
It's not the first time it's happened, right? I mean, look at, what Earnhardt did back in the day and, Ricky Rudd. There was a few, quite a few guys that owned their own race team. Whether they drove it or had someone else drive it. I don't know the ins and outs of all these details of what's going on and what rumors are true and which ones aren't. I have no idea. I know it's one heck of a project if that's the direction he's going, which hey, all the power to him. Good luck. I hope it works well. I hope it goes well for him. But I know that is a big project to take on. So I'll be interested to see how it all goes and what happens and hope for the best. But, I don't know the details about the situation.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Our next question will come from Cole Cusimano. Go ahead with your question, Cole.
Thanks, Matt. Hey, Joey, and hello to all your Miles the Monsters in the background. Going back to the last spring race at Bristol, you had the race pretty much locked up with about 3 to go until Chase took you out. Will you be racing them any differently this week, given the high stakes, or is all kind of forgiven and forgotten since then?
I mean, race to win. That's what we'll continue to do. Race people the way they race you. That's kind of the expectations that I've always had. If you race someone the way they race you, they're going to race you the way you race them. It's that to me is the driver code, right? It's this word has been brought up so many times and talked about. And what is code? What is code? To me, that's what it is. You treat people how they treat you, and that's just the way that I kind of move through on the racing side of things.
Thank you, sir. Good luck this weekend.
Yep. Thanks.
Our final question for Joey will come from Eric Smith. Go ahead with your question, Eric.
Yeah, Joe, you've seen like stick and ball sports or guys or teams go into a playoffs, maybe not necessarily the top of the regular season, but they go on a run and can win a championship. You guys seem to have a lot of momentum right now. Do you feel momentum as a driver heading to Bristol? And even if it's not necessarily a win on Saturday night, how important is it to just keep that momentum going into the next round?
It's important for sure. Momentum is confidence, and I feel like we're pretty close to where we were in the beginning of the year. When we were able to click off those wins, I feel like our speed is in those positions to where, with the right situations, the right decisions on strategy, things like that, we can put ourselves in the winning spot again, just like we were. So I feel good about that. I feel like we're, very confident as a race team right now. And a lot of that's because how much we've grown over the last, few months. And I've said this a few times to my guys is that, when we won the championship in 2018, I remember telling my wife about 4 weeks before the playoffs started, I said, there ain't no way we get through the second round of this thing. We're not fast enough. And next thing you know, a little bit of speed popped up, and next thing you know, there's this pretty shiny trophy behind me, and you just don't know how quick that happens. So, with that in the back of my mind, I always feel like we always have a shot, no matter what. But that on top of actually proving that we have some speed here the last few weeks and capable of winning makes us feel pretty good about where we're at.
And a quick follow-up to that. I mean, you've been to the championship for a few times. You know what it's like to win. Do you right now feel like the cars and the team is there to do that again?
I think we're there. Our pit crew is firing on all 8 right now. They're very fast. Paul and I are working together better than ever as we get to know each other better and better. You know, we're all working on each other individually to be better. We're working with each other as a team to be better. And I think we've just had to kind of figure out how to race during COVID-19, right? I mean, that's just what it is. This whole pandemic has changed the game for everybody. And it was a little bit more challenging for us to kind of figure it out for whatever reasons. We believe me, we got 15, 20 different reasons, but I do feel like we've really overcome a lot of those hurdles at this point and putting ourselves in position again to have speed and start to capitalize. So, like I said, I feel pretty good about it.
Thanks, Joey. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks.
Joey, thanks for taking the time to join us today. Good luck this weekend in Thunder Valley. Take care now.
No problem. Hope everyone's doing well. Stay safe. Hope to see you soon. See you guys.
Absolutely. We'll be joined here in about 10 minutes by Eric Almirola. And then at 2:30, Matt Benedetto.